Welcome to Two Humans Talking, the podcast where we talk about what it actually takes to thrive in today's modern, fast paced world. I'm your host, Tiffany Simms, and today's episode of Two Humans Talking is brought to you by the Modern Women's Society. The Modern Women's Society is the ultimate space for high achieving women, the leaders, the community builders, and the movement makers. The women that are leading from the front to make this world a better place for them to grow and rise into their next level without the guilt, burnout, shame, and exhaustion our traditional success playbooks left us with. So if you're interested in joining the Modern Women's Society, be sure to click that link below to learn more, and we look forward to getting to know you on the inside. Now let's get into today's guest. I am so excited to be bringing you this light and love of a woman, Kay. She even just chatting with her before we hit the record button is such a real human, a girl's girl, I just want to share what I've learned the messy way to help one person to fast track over that bumpy road a little bit smoother than I did. And so, Kay, welcome to the show. I am so happy to have you here.
Thanks. I'm so glad to be here. And I know I'm blushing. How sweet was that? Thank you.
You're so welcome. No, I want to share with the ladies listening with us right now. One of the first questions you asked was, who listens to the show so that I know that I am who I'm talking to because
Mhm.
it's not about me.
Yeah,
And I think that that is such a gift. And I think that that's how we change the world.
I agree.
You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I think listening and learning about other people is the single most important thing that we can do to make our lives and the lives of people around us better. Because it's
Mm.
only through, you were talking about the power of dialogue before we started recording. And dialogue isn't just one person speaking and then another person sitting there saying, "Oh, how am I going to respond?" And then they speak and everybody's like doing a debate. It's listening and saying, "Huh, who is this person sitting across the table from me? And what do they have that I can maybe learn from?" And once we do that, we find that everybody is amazing. Like the world is just full of amazing people.
Everyone has their own set of skills because of the life they lived that someone else could value from. Oh, so good. So before we dive in, okay, tell us who you are, where you're from, and maybe a little bit about what makes your soul sparkle.
Sure. I love that phrase, by the way, soul sparkle. I'll tell you why in a minute. But so, yes, I'm Kay. My full name is Kristen, but I had a college roommate who shortened it to Kay, and I love it. So I just go by Kay. K Castrataro, I am a fifth generation farm kid. So on the same piece of land, like we are not people who move very far. We pretty much just stay there and stay rooted in the soil. So I have that whole farm background. I've dairy farmed in New York. I've had like draft horses. I've done all kinds of crazy farming stuff. And then I found, well, I've always been a writer and I love to write. And then I found this therapeutic journaling field that kind of, I've just like skipped about 40 years of my life. But I found this journaling field that pulled together all the experiences I've ever had with like agriculture, and I did writing for child protection in humanitarian settings. So, the people who are in Gaza and that kind of thing, I would write guides for them, training guides about how to keep children safe in that setting and how to take care of themselves because that's incredibly stressful work and they get really tired. So, I'm a divorced mom of two, and my kids were also abuse survivors after my divorce, like a month after they came home with bruises from visiting their dad. So, like I've seen and experienced a lot. One of my kids especially, is very neurodivergent. So, you know, those of you out there who've done the like partial programs in the behavioral health and putting your kids in hospitalization, yeah, I'm here. Send me a message. We'll chat about how much fun that is to navigate and how that saps your life. But anyway, so as I was going through my divorce, actually, I came across this book that said how I came to sparkle again. And at in that day, I was like not sparkling at all. And I was like, oh, I want to sparkle again. And just this beautiful little novel about a woman who, goes to Sparkle, Colorado, and, refines herself after a
That
bad
little piece
bad
of her
breakup
soul
and
that
all
had
that
like
stuff.
someone like gave it a heartbeat again, and when she was just like, actually, that sounds delightful. I would like that.
I want that. I want that. And so what makes me sparkle is helping other people sparkle. So like when I can do anything that makes somebody else happier, that makes me happy. So that's what I'm here doing, hopefully.
Oh, so beautiful. Well, when you're not making other people happy and you are making yourself happy, what kind of things do you enjoy doing?
So I laugh. I have this guilty pleasure that I fell into years ago of actually watching Chinese dramas, like costume dramas, and also modern, very cheesy dramas. And I don't speak a lick of Chinese. So I do all the subtitles. I've learned a little bit. I have learned a little bit picking it up from watching it. But that is one of my guilty pleasures. It's a nice escape and I can relax, but I also am like totally into words. So I love to work, to do poetry, to write short stories. I
That's fun.
garden. I do kind of a little of everything.
I find that so fun. So I am not a wordsy person like that. And so when I meet people who like that is their expression, I'm so fascinated because like I admire it because it's something that I'm not like that I am not skilled at.
Yeah. Well, you have to be skilled at it in some way because you run a podcast where you
I people really well. But like written word or like poetry or storytelling in that way, like those are skills as an entrepreneur. I have to adapt and learn, but they don't
yeah.
flow out of me naturally. They're not like my media. I will color all day long. I will go
Ah,
outside and play in
yeah.
nature. Um, I will be silly and like get dressed up and go be silly, but to the natural flow of words,
Mm-hmm.
to a form like that, like an artistic form like poetry or story
Yep.
writing or something, is not necessarily like my innate skills.
Well, I'll tell you, I do have a weekly poetry class that's called Yes, You Can Write Poetry. And it's literally a drop in. You like sign up for one class, you come, you go. It's there's no
Oh, that is
pressure
so
at all.
fun.
So yeah, so I am pretty convinced that you can write poetry. And if you ever want to try it,
Oh, so fun.
come hang
I do not
out.
believe in coincidences. What divine timing. Maybe it's divinely timed that this conversation was today
Yeah, well,
and
I'm
that this
telling
is
you,
what's happening.
I never thought I was a poet. All right. Now, I was an English major. I grew up on a farm. And when I was like 6, okay, there's so much that could be said about this. But when I was 6, my parents put me in charge of our little farm stand. So all summer, from the time I was 6 on up until I graduated, I spent all day, every day in a little shack by myself selling sweet corn to whomever happened to come. And I was bored, silly. So I read books, lots of books. And then I ran out of books because I had read everything that we had. So then I started writing books. And I would take the brown paper bags that we had at the farm and I would cut them open, kind of like you did when back when we
Back
had
when you were
actual
covering your
paper
textbooks,
textbooks and you
that
had
was
to
the
cover
best.
exactly just like that. Except I would use them and I would write stories on the back of them. And then I'd flip it over and write it in between all of the letters on the front. And then I would take them home at night. And my mom had gotten me like an electric typewriter again, back before everybody had a PC. I'm dating myself badly here. But yeah, I would type them up. And so that's how I learned to type was typing up my own stories on this little typewriter that I wrote on paper bags.
So cool.
That's,
That is
that's how
so
my
cool.
writing
And I
career.
want to reframe something real quick. And I think it's important for our bestie listening to hear this too. As we age, we have a tendency to say things like we're aging, we're dating ourselves. There is nothing wrong with lived experiences and to still be here to tell the tale.
Absolutely. I look at these gray hairs that are here, and I know a lot of people who are getting rid of their gray, and I just sit there and like, I earned every single one of these.
I
These
feel
are,
that way
these
about
are
my
battle
mom.
scars, baby.
I feel that way about the fine lines in my face.
Yes,
And
those
like my smile lines and the ones around my cheeks. At least for right now, I'm 40. Maybe that'll change, but for right now, I very, very, very like love them because they're the stories of my life. That one, I
yeah.
felt it.
Well,
They're the
it's like
stories of my life.
smiling.
But however, I will hide. My temples are very great and like they get covered up because they make me feel, for me, in the way the shade of my hair, it makes me feel unpolished and
Mm-hmm.
like I didn't get ready for the day. Whereas there's other people who rock it so well, like it fits their complexion, they look so put together, and that is just not how I feel with them currently.
Yeah, well, my sister is 30 months younger than I am, so almost 3 years. And she and I are besties. And she and I are so alike in so many ways, and then we are polar opposites in others. So, as you can tell, in my t-shirt with the hair and the gray and the not a bit of makeup, like I don't do any of that stuff. And then she cannot leave her house without carefully curling the hair. Her hair actually looks a lot like yours, like beautifully, beautifully styled,
I only
beautifully
recently learned how to do this.
highlighted, all of those things, that I'm like, wow, I love how people look when they do that, but it's not me. I can do it for like a week and then I run out of energy and I'm just like, oh, this is not worth it to me. So I always really admire people like you who can look put together because I just always have this is who I am, folks. There is no put together.
Okay, so this is a very new for me. So I
Really?
have always been like within like the last, I would say 6 months maybe. Because so like you, I have extremely curly hair and it is my personality and it is so fun and it is so bouncy. And like, I believe that I was gifted that hair because all it takes is some mousse and you go. And I did not
Right?
understand
Air
how
dries.
people could stand in the mirror for hours in the morning because who had time for that? And something I saw Instagram reel of like a 21-year-old, I'm 40, of a 21-year-old who had hair that looked just like mine getting ready for a festival, like a 3-day festival. And whatever it was that she did, I thought to myself, well, that actually makes sense. I'm going to try that and see because any other time I tried to have like pretty hair, I put that in air quotes if you're not watching on YouTube. Those were in air quotes because I absolutely adore my curly hair. But the pretty hair, the polished hair, the like you're going somewhere for a special event hair. I always just looked like I had like an over dried horse's tail. It was like it was straight and it might have been soft,
This
but
is, this is yeah.
it felt dry and it wasn't pretty. It didn't make me feel pretty, right? It made me feel like an ugly duckling. And so I was like, I'm just curious. And I tried it, and all of a sudden, I was like a new person. You couldn't tell me
Mm,
anything. There was like a different version of myself that came out. And
yeah.
I really, and then I realized I was like, well, I put all this work in, like we're not going to wash it. So we'll wear it like this week because that was a lot of time and effort. And I noticed for myself that it made getting ready in the morning and me feeling ready for my day so much more efficient
Yeah.
because there was something for me in that, and it was the right time, the right place, the right stage of my own journey for it to align. Where like pulling my hair up when it was like straight frizzy, like straight flyaways, felt so much more put together than like my pubic frizz that would like orbit my head. And as I'm stepping into this,
Right.
like,
I the demonstration. So what? You see what she did, and then you have this, and this is
but
exactly.
it was
But
like as
I'm
I was
fine with it. Like
stepping,
if it bothered me, I would do something.
yeah, but it was like the right that piece of information came into my life at the
You were
exact
ready to
right
use
time
it.
as I was stepping into a new identity and
Mm,
like trying to like find who this new version of me was because I hadn't been her before. And I was feeling stuck in my routine and I felt like my outsides weren't matching what was glowing inside. And it just all kind of came together in this like magical moment. I don't
yeah.
know. And now I'm like, I do my hair once a week and I'm like in and out of the bathroom faster than I ever was with my like curly mousse and go routine.
Yeah. I
Anyway,
love it.
that was a real
No,
long
but
story.
I so
Take
I,
care.
I'm curious, and I was just wondering if there was some like trigger that sparked this transformation that you're talking about? Because I have watched some of your older posts, and you did have the very natural kind of look, which is one of the reasons why I should have checked and noticed that you've done like a
Oh,
style
you are
change.
perfectly you. There are
I
days I come on this
I know
show
I
and I
can't
am
be
in
any
my
other.
hoodie and my pajamas. Like I show up as the version of me for the day, and that is who you get.
So, but I'm wondering if there was something you were talking about the you that you hadn't been before. So I'm curious if you're willing to share that, or if that's just something that's like, oh, that's for another day.
Well, I think that I was in this like my wardrobe didn't feel like it was mine anymore. And
Mm,
like I didn't feel like who I was showing up to in the world represented who I was and what I wanted to be seen. And like I didn't feel like the outside and the inside were matching. And like there was just this disconnect.
yep.
And it wasn't that the like come over tomorrow. Who knows? I might be feel like the day is a pajama day. I don't know. Today I felt like getting dressed. Um I really do just honor who I am each and every day, but there was something that like I was noticing about other people that I admired about how they looked when they got ready for the day or how they put their clothes together or their skin routine or those things. And so I was like in this like what has always worked for me has worked for me to now, but something is off. And
Yeah.
my biggest, this is not about me, but since you asked, I will continue sharing.
No, no, I think
Um,
it's about us. We're two humans talking. This is fun.
but my biggest fear happened, which was that someone told me how amazing I looked with my hair like this and how I looked the part, which was the speaking, and it spoke to my deepest insecurities, which was me before wasn't enough for to be taken seriously, to be heard, to be seen, and to be valued exactly as I was. And I had that. I was at least it was with someone that I felt brave enough to say, like, can I process out loud the feelings I just had? Because I know you didn't weren't trying to trigger something.
Yep.
And she was like, but Tiff, and she was like, for the world that you are trying to create and that you're stepping into, if there's a statistic that says women who get put together, like put together. I use that with air quotes because like I don't please do not snip that and like misconstrue my words. Please like be here in this conversation.
No, this is very much, I mean, what you're getting into right now is definitely the societal pressure on women to look and be a certain way in order to be validated by people who do not know them. So at least
Correct.
that's what I'm
Thank
hearing
you.
coming where
And
you're
so,
heading.
like, there is a statistic that says 30 that women who get dressed each day, who put effort into their hair and put even just a smidge of makeup on every day, earn 30% more than women who don't. And right or wrong, if you have a message that needs to change the world, then you need to play the cards to your advantage every time you get one to play.
You're right. Absolutely.
And so, yeah, and I feel like in my and I will tell you, like I will be so honest with you, Kay, like there is such a dichotomy between that
Yep.
because
10 cents.
I am enough whether I do this or or just roll out of bed frizzy haired, like haven't washed it in a week. Like I am the same person with the same value, with the same message. And there is something about this right now that's not like a suit of armor, like I need to defend myself from the world, but it's almost like I'm ready for the battle. Let's go because I have a message that needs to change, that is going to change the world and I can't be stopped. And so I don't know, it's like gives me like a little bit of superpower. It's like my superpower cape right now.
Well, I got to tell you, before my kids go to school every day, I have them do an exercise that we call putting on your shield. And so I have them stand nice and tall, take a deep breath in, because I do a lot of deep breathing with my all of us for mental health. And I have them start with their hands kind of together, but down or beneath their waist, so kind of at their pubic line, and come over their heads like this, standing nice and tall. So they're putting their shield on, and then you put your hands down on your sides because if you come down this way, you've just taken off your shield again. And what I tell them is now we're going to fill it with love. And I give them a hug and I fill it with love. And I say, all right, you now have a shield around you that is full of love, that the love in the world can come in and all the crap that two middle schoolers are going to face, because don't we all love middle school? It's coming at you, and it's coming at you because the more visible you are, people do make these judgments. And I mean, I think we can look at around our society and say that we're putting value in definitely the wrong places. And yet, you kind of got to meet people where they are. And,
Yes.
you know, and most of my work, my heart work right now is with farmers. So, you know, I know how farmers feel about women who look really put together, and they feel very threatened and very like they're being told that they're not
Prejudged.
enough. And so for me, I'm like, you know what? That's not me. Like I've tried it. I mean, if you've seen, if you go to check out my website, you will see me with the cutest little reverse bob thing going on, and it's all straightened, and I look like so put together. And yeah, that lasted maybe like 2 weeks because I can't keep the momentum to it. It's just it drains my energy. So for
Yes.
you, that is a shield, and for me, it is just an
It's a
energy
barrier
sink.
in the world that it's a barrier for you.
And
Whereas
it's a barrier for
before,
me. Like it doesn't like I can't sustain that, and then that makes me feel like I'm failing because I can't hit that ideal of, you know, put togetherness. Again, we're air quoting all over the place today. So I think that's one of the really important things too, is that where you are in your journey can influence how you want to be presented and how you want people to see you, but also that people are going to judge us. Like
oh, 100%.
there is no way we can avoid that. And so the most important thing we can do is say, who am I? And I love what you said about how you want to show up in the world, because I don't know, I don't know, I probably stole this from like Oprah or something, but it's like, you know, who do you want to be in the world? And I just love that concept, because when I ask myself, who do I want to be? It has absolutely nothing to do with how large or small my pant size is, or how perfectly put together my hair is, or any of that stuff. It's when I meet
You're
people,
speaking my
do they
language.
feel loved? I love the world.
I am so glad you said that because I think that there is a stigma, and I was kind of, I could, not that it was gonna like filter the words that I shared with you, but I could hear the devil advocate side of it in the back of my mind of like what people might hear out of the conversation.
Yeah.
And so I love that you said that because I think it's really important to note that I've been, and I think we've all been there where we were doing the things to receive love. We wanted to be received by the outside world. So we were doing things to validate our existence and get attention that way for other people. And what you and I just kind of talked about, which I think is so important to like distinguish, is that the choices that we're making and how we show up in the world is for ourselves from ourselves, not
Yes.
because there's a statistics that says like 30% here or because the farmers are going to like feel threatened and
Right.
intimidated. And so you're trying, no, it's like, how do I best show up in the world as myself, feeling my best so that I am my best with everyone without being in my head the whole time?
Yes. And knowing that we're not all meant to bless the same group of people. Like the people that, well, I mentioned Oprah. The people that Oprah's going to reach are not the same people that Kay's going to reach. Like they're just not,
I
okay? Now,
disagree.
oh, you're so sweet. Look at you. But I think that there are people that,
Maybe scale in
but
this
I'm
moment,
thinking,
maybe the scale of people, but
so I'm
I disagree.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna let you disagree in a moment, but I want to kind of make sure that I frame it the way I want to frame it before I stop. Is that we all are going to attract a certain group of people to us, and those are going to be the people who need to meet us at that particular time. And we don't have to be anything other than who we are at that moment, with all of our beauty and perfection and all of our messed up, disgusting blemishes, because we've got them both. And when we come And some days all you can see is the pus rolling out of our wounds, and we're like, man, I went through the battle and I got nothing left. I'm like on the battlefield and I just need somebody to
And
save
you're
my
just
life.
covered now in those like star-shaped pimple stickers that the kids wear. I
Well,
don't know if that's better or worse than having a pimple, but I
I don't know. All I know is that I'm approaching the perimenopause stage. Well, not approaching. I am smack dab in perimenopause, which is just fun. And like I remember all of these zits that I used to get up around my hairline when I was a freshman in college, and they're back. And they were gone for a really
we
long
should
time. And I'm
not
like,
have to have pimples and
um,
gray hairs at the same time.
man, it just right. So anyway, but so that's so where I was going with that is that we attract the people that need to hear our message and who can hear it from us in that moment. So I want to hear your disagreement though, because
It was more along
on
the lines
scale.
of I believe that my own and this is my own thing, right? I can't I don't attract the same people as Oprah. No, you will. You definitely like the audiences overlap. Does Oprah have has she been in the game longer than me? Yes. Is she more visible than me? Yes. Is her scalability at a different range than mine? Yes. However, do we both talk to humans and
Yeah,
do we both have a message worth listening to? And will those people overlap? 100% yes.
definitely. I do agree with that. Yes.
And will they, and like you said, though, what I loved is like why people come to us is for our very own unique gifts
Yeah.
in this world.
Yeah, because we have something to say to them. And I think we had mentioned a little bit earlier about having our own story. Like, I think you had said something about, everybody's got their own story to share that's going to resonate with somebody out in the world.
Yes.
And I think that is one of the kind of beautiful graces that come with the hardships that we face in life. Because, like, we all, I was talking about being on the battlefield. We've all had crap. Like it's just you cannot live in this fallen, broken world without getting crap on you. And yet, it is often the hardest experiences that really do the most for us in the long run. Like if we have an attitude of thankfulness and teachability, we can take some of the most horrific things and really bless other people with them because there are other people who've been through the exact same things and they're just looking for somebody to say, You got it. Like, don't worry. You might think that you're going to fall beneath this, but you will sparkle again. I promise you." You know?
I love that. I am in a very clear season. It probably like the last 8 months, it's been like exposing itself to me
Yeah.
that there are no such thing as coincidences, only like divine timing and whatever that means to you, because I'm still exploring what that actually means to me, but it's the word that keeps popping through.
Mm,
Um, and that I'm in a space now where like all of these side quests and the hardest challenges of my life to date that did not make sense in the moment, I developed skills in those seasons that I didn't understand why I needed until right now in this moment. And now all the dots connect.
yep.
And so, like, the things that I am challenged with right now, when they catch me off guard and when it's hard and when I'm like, how am I going to find my way through this? There is an anchoring that is so deep that I don't even know how to put words to it that says, those didn't make sense then and they are so valuable now. I can only wait to see what I don't know that's coming.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for that. Look, you've got me tearing up too. Like, but
But you know what I mean?
yeah,
Why,
I
if it's
do.
true
I
for that,
do.
why won't it be true for this season too?
Absolutely. Because I do not believe in coincidences. I do believe that we have got I come from a very Judeo-Christian perspective. So for me, like God is definitely a person who loves me and he's promised to work all things together for good if I love him and am called according to his purposes. So if I'm loving on God and I'm loving on people, he's going to give me the best. And that best sometimes looks really not good. Like getting cheated on by your husband and getting, cast aside for a woman like 8 or 10 years younger than you does not feel good. That feels bad. Having your 4-year-old son come home with handprints on his face does not feel good. Navigating DCYF and legal fees and all of that, no, not good. And yet, I look back at that and I'm like, as much as I wish my children didn't have to go through it, the stuff that I started to learn from those situations have carried through in all the work that I've been doing. I now have so much more empathy for people who are struggling because I can look at them and be like, yeah, I get what it feels like to just try to get through the day. And yet, I now have a story of hope that I can share with people that had I not been through that, me saying, "Oh, honey, it'll be okay." I love that. I had a friend who's going through cancer who was like, the worst thing you can tell to somebody is, "Oh, it's going to be okay." They don't feel that right now. But if you can live it, if you can sit there and sit with their suffering and say, I know this sucks and it's going to be okay. And you can trust it because I'm okay. And I walked this journey before and I'll walk it with you now. And I think it's amazing. Like I love the fact that we can use this pain to bless other people and to become better people ourselves. Like, iron sharpening iron. You gotta peel away the stuff. Sometimes I think about it as like debriding a wound where you've got to rip all that stuff off so
Yeah.
that the proud flesh gets taken off and you clean it up. And yeah, I'm really gory today, aren't I? I've got pus and debriding.
I'm like, no, like the visuals are spot on. I'm like, yes. So
But
clear
that's
what
how
you're
it's
saying.
supposed to be.
But
Scalpel.
I told you before we started that we were besties and that we were going to talk like about the real stuff. And this is real stuff sitting on the couch in your PJs. Stuff.
Right.
So you just helped me deliver what I said we were going to deliver today. Okay, this has been so much fun. How do we connect with you outside of the show?
Oh my goodness. So lots of ways, but probably the easiest one would be to go to one of my two websites. So, because I have to subdivide everything, it's just the way my brain works. If you're a farmer and you want to have some farmer-centered support, then you will go to pen, P-E-N, light, L-I-G-H-T, farmers.com. If you're not a farmer, but you want to learn some skills that will be able to support you to live a more satisfying and efficient and peaceful life, communicate better with people, understand yourself better, you want to go to pen-light.org. Hopefully we'll put that underneath.
I'll put it
But
in the yep.
yeah, and the name actually, again, you asked about sparkling. That's kind of where the name came from because the pen, my daughter helped me come up with it actually. But the pen was to write because I do a lot of journal-based stuff. And then the light was because I want us to have light. And I believe that, God sent the light of the world to us. So I'm like, we can write a brighter tomorrow starting today. And that's my mission.
And with that, that is how we are going to wrap up the show today. With that, that is Two Humans Talking, and I will see you next time. Thanks, Kay. Bye. Thanks for watching. I hope you found this episode as inspiring and actionable as I did. If you're ready to stop just surviving and start living a life where your health, your relationships, and your career work together without the burnout, then it's time that you join the Modern Women's Society. Inside, I'll walk you through my life GPS system, a proven blueprint to help you have it all while thriving. You'll gain tools, coaching, and the kind of clarity that brings big dreams to life without the stress, overwhelm, guilt, and shame that the modern woman is used to. We're going to create a life where you feel energized and excited to wake up every day and fulfilled when you put your head on the pillow. Click the link below to learn more and join countless other women who are redefining success on their terms. Because the life you've dreamed about is closer than you think. I'll see you on the inside.